Your reaction to former President Trump comments that he would, if elected, allow Russia to do whatever it wants to NATO members that are delinquent, in his words, in devoting 2% of GDP to defence?
Well, I think they're incredibly dangerous and highly irresponsible, and increases the potential for conflict in Europe, and I think sends exactly the wrong message to the Kremlin, to Vladimir Putin, as well as I think to Xi Jinping in Beijing and other leaders around the world, that the United States may not come to the defense of its allies and partners, whether that's in Europe or Asia or anywhere else. And the fact is that it is important for countries to spend more on defense, that our allies and partners of the United States, NATO countries, have made a commitment to hit 2%. But this is not sort of a protection racket. That's not how NATO was set up. That the United States has a solemn duty to come to the aid of allies that are under attack, and they will come to our aid if we are under attack. And that's what we've experienced, where NATO countries have participated in numerous conflicts that the U.S. has been involved in. So I think they're incredibly irresponsible, and they're really causing a lot of shock right now in Europe.
That said, Max, isn't this characteristic rhetoric and bluster from the former president? Pardon me, if he is elected, is there a non-negligible risk that the US could withdraw from NATO? What are the implications?
I think the risk is quite high if you have a second Trump administration. I think it's much higher than the first Trump administration, where many of the people that were staffing the administration, the Secretary of Defense Mattis and Mark Esper, who are very seasoned Washington national security officials and believed in alliances and partnerships. And I think what you will have now is Trump will identify people that strongly believe what he believes. And I think that should be taken to heart in Brussels and across European capitals and Asian capitals as well. So I do think that the nature of his remarks come kind of at a different time and tenor, where he would come into government if he were to win the election with a clear strategy, I think, to undermine NATO or to pull back from NATO. And so it is in line with his rhetoric of the past, but I think comes in a different context. I should say his remarks about the Kremlin doing what it wishes or whatever it will with NATO countries that don't hit 2%. I think that is a bit beyond from what we've seen, and I think that's highly inflammatory and quite dangerous.